Alright, so for those of you who don't know about my whole Mustang situation, my Mustang journey, if you will, since I was probably 10 years old, I've drooled over a Fastback Mustang, just completely drooled over him. I looked at the car probably 4 or 5 hours a day online for years. I was obsessed with it as a child. So, you know, growing up, I always wanted a Fastback but never could afford one. I actually found one in Virginia Beach. Virginia Beach is where I found the first one. I'll get to that. It was a 6-cylinder Fastback car, needed a lot of restoration, but I found it for $6,000. I was like, holy crap, that's a complete car for $6,000. So with the wife's blessing, I bought the car. I had the car for a year and it sat because I couldn't do anything with it because I couldn't afford it. Then I got a deal with, a friend of mine and a family member, and I don't want to name any names or nothing, but just we had a deal where I was going to trade him my Chevelle that I had bought. So let me back up. I had the car for a year and I was like, it's never going to happen. I gave up on it. I was completely sad and was like, I'm going to sell it. Sold the car on eBay. It sold for $9,000. I was waiting for the seller, and by that time I found a Chevelle that was running and driving for $9,000. So I bought the car and figured the next week I'd have the check for the Mustang and then I wouldn't have to worry about a loan. Well, I was approached and said, hey, that Chevelle's actually my dream car. If you want, give me a year, I'll restore your car, and then I'll keep the Chevelle. I was like, hey, that's a pretty good deal, $9,000 for a restoration. Well, years goes by, and I'm not going to fault him. I mean, it just didn't happen. Things happen where it just didn't happen. A car sat for a year, it didn't happen. Well, I had a Chevelle, and then I had this other car. So what I did was I sold the Chevelle. I actually made a little money off of it. Sold it about $12,000 and bought another car for $15,000. So I invested another $3,000 in it. I'm just noticing this bump on my mouth. I was making me self-conscious here. But so I bought this other Mustang out of Alabama. The guy sent me pictures and showed me exactly what the car was about, and I bought it. Well, when it got there, before it even got there, the car got wrecked. Now, I'm not totaled, but the transport company that I hired to move the car wrecked the whole entire door and front fender, causing about $4,000 worth of damage. So I get my car, and I'm already heartbroken because it's damaged. But at least it's a running, driving Fastback, so I'm very excited about it. I was like, need minimal, no body work, just get some paint on it and put the interior and all those parts I already had in my garage, because I spent $5,000 in parts, for the first car's restoration, because he was going to do everything but the interior. So I got all the interior, all that stuff. I even went and got exterior too. I got all bumpers, door handles, chrome trim, all the kind of accessories. Well, not only was the car damaged from the transporter, the underside of the car was completely rotted. The frame rails were completely destroyed. The guy sold me a lemon. So it took me about a month, but the guy finally accepted the car back. I lost about $3,000 on that car. So it's been one thing after another. I eventually got the money back, found this car for a reasonable price, about $12,000. And which is about what I got back, was $12,000. I lost $3,000, so I had $12,000. I bought this car for $12,000, and the guy who actually bought it was interested in my first car. He gave me $6,000 for my first car. So I actually have a $5,500 budget that I can put into this car, surplus, and then we'll see about paint and body. That's probably gonna be a little bit extra, but that's okay. So the good news is I've got, probably with a $5,500 budget, probably $10,000 worth of parts to put in this car. So that's good. But getting back to my point, my obsession with Mustangs, and more importantly the Fastbacks, and more importantly than that, the Shelby GT350H. That has been a car that I have dreamt about. That very dramatic paint scheme, that black with gold stripes, man, that's just, it's just the essence of badass and just rare. Everything about that car just says rare. Black with gold stripes, I mean, that's just a very rare looking car. So I think one of the best things that could ever happen to me, besides marrying my wife and having my daughter, would be to have that car. And people would ask me, why would you want something like that? I mean, I'd rather have that than a Ferrari or Lamborghini or a $100 million home or anything, really. I mean, that's all I've ever really wanted since I was about 15 years old. Is, I mean, to have a wife and a family and that car, and that's all I've ever really wanted. I mean, I don't really want. I don't buy clothes. I go to Walmart and buy jeans and stuff. I mean, I don't really want really anything. I mean, I like eating out time and again, but I really don't want for nothing but this car. So I'm really praying that it works out, and I really hope that maybe someday this car will be done and people can see my journey. And I say a journey like it's some huge adversity, but to me it's been 3 years now just from having a car and seeing your dream car sit around and just sit there and rust. So it's a mild journey, I'd say, you know, and for me to have it completed will be a dream come true. So, you know, we'll see. But that's a little bit about my Mustang story and how much this Fastback means to me. So, yeah.